Before my second year of teaching, the principal of my school, I think it was the principal, either that or the district, gave us a book. It was called The First Days of School by Harry Wong. I believe that's right, The First Day of School by Harry Wong. And in that book, all he talks about is routines and procedures, And all that with the purpose of creating a good classroom environment and classroom management. And I gotta tell you, after 17 years, I agree with that message more now than ever. I think the foundation for creating a great classroom environment is establishing routines and procedures. So you're probably asking yourself,
what do you do? What do you do?
Well, I'll be more than happy to tell you. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 of my routines, not all of them, just 3 of my routines that I have in my classroom to make sure the classroom runs smoothly. And you're probably asking yourself, what are those 3 routines? Well, here they are. They are the in-bin, the hall pass, and the extra credit. Now, this is the first time we're meeting. My name is Gabriel Vigil. I've been teaching in Southern California for 18 years. And it's my goal for this channel to create a place where we come together, share stories, share strategies, and provide a place that we can support each other. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy the video. The in-bin. I'm sure this has happened to you at least once or twice in your teaching career. Things are going great in your class, things are flowing, you're having a good time with everything, and out of nowhere a kid, interrupts the whole entire flow by saying, Mr. Vigil, I did some extra credit, can I give it to you now? And you're like, oh, thank you. Bad timing, right? Or once again, things are going great, and a student, Mr. Vigil, my parents wanted me to give you a message. Oh, right? So if that's ever happened to you, this in-bin may be the solution. The purpose of my in-bin is to take care of my little housekeeping items I need to take care of. So what are housekeeping items? That could be anything such as late work needs to be turned in, or it could be extra credit that a student did, or it could be a message from a parent. Message! Oh, I get it. Just put it in the in-bin. So that's my answer to everything. Just put it in the in-bin. I got a message, put it in the in-bin. I got some extra credit, put it in the in-bin. I did, put it in the in-bin. And so that's my catch-all for everything is that in-bin. It takes care of all those housekeeping items so I can use my attention and focus my attention on other things. The most important time for establishing the classroom environment is those first 5 minutes of class, and I guard those first 5 minutes of class. And the in-bin helps me guard those first 5 minutes. So instead of students coming up to me, asking me questions, trying to give me things, they know just put it in the in-bin. And then I will address it either through that class period or some other time. I have routines for the first 5 minutes of class and the last 5 minutes of class. And once again, those are, in my opinion, the most important part of class because it creates the environment and ends the class in an appropriate way. So that way you can make sure you set up your next class for success. If you're interested in one of those routines I have, just go ahead and click somewhere up here on one of those buttons and it'll take you to that one. I will also put a link below so that way you can go to one of those videos that talks about my 5-minute routines in the beginning of class as well as the end of the class. Exactly. Who does not like extra credit? First, I want to acknowledge that it always seems like the students that need extra credit are not the ones doing it, and the ones that don't need it are the ones doing it. But regardless, I need to put a system into place so that I can have something for students to work on if they wanted extra credit. My procedure for extra credit actually was designed and created to solve 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, the key you gotta understand about extra credit is that, in my opinion, it cannot be easier than the regular work. Because if it is, then there's no motivation for a student to do the regular work if they know they can do the easier extra credit. So in my class, the extra credit requires students to read the book. And from reading the book, they have to answer the questions at the end of the section. The second thing you got to make sure is that it's self-explanatory, that they can do it by themselves, meaning they don't have to wait for you to print them something or hand something to them. They can do the work by themselves at home, and that's what my extra credit provides. But what is the first bird? The first bird is this: give the students a chance to extra credit. Maybe it's getting towards the end of the semester and they're looking to get their grades up a little bit, and I wanted to have something that they could work on if they so desired. But the second bird, and the real reason why this extra credit, in my opinion, is so important, is to help students out if they are ever absent. Previously, if a student was absent, I would have to go back through all the assignments that they missed and print out things and everything else. And a lot of times they couldn't do stuff because it was only in-class and assignment. And so it created a lot of problems. But to solve this, my extra credit is the remedy. Since it's work out of the book, they could do it any time. And since that part of the book I'm gonna have them read and answer is relevant to what we're learning now, they're not missing any of the content. Because previously, if they went back and worked on other assignments that were 2 weeks ago, that would not help them since that's already been tested on. But by giving them work out of the book that is current, it's gonna help them for the upcoming tests. So if a student is ever absent, they don't need to come to me asking for what we did or what's missing assignment. It says they know that for every day they are absent, they should do one extra credit assignment. And that would make up for what they missed that period as far as actually learning wise, the information, but also the points. That way, the burden of me trying to scramble to find out what they missed as well as gather up documents is no longer something I have to worry about. And when they complete the extra credit, you got it. All they gotta do is take this credit and put it in the what?
Trash.
Wait, what? No, we already talked about this. They gotta put it in the bin. Procedure 3, the hall pass. A hall pass for me is anytime a student wants to leave the classroom. Now, not when they're called up by the office or the counselors, but if they want to leave the classroom for whatever reason, maybe it's to go to the restroom, to go see the nurse, to get something from another classroom. Anytime they have to leave from the restroom and it requires me to issue a hall pass, I count that as a hall pass. And you know that if you don't have a procedure for hall passes, it's gonna quickly get out of control and students are gonna be leaving your classroom almost every single period.
Hey, Mikey, go to the bathroom?
You'll find yourself thinking, honestly, do you have to use the restroom every single period? Man, us teachers, we hold for an entire day. We hold our pee like camels hold water. I remember my wife once told me that, she goes, you know, every time you call the office or then to cover your class because you have to use the restroom, everybody on campus that has a walkie-talkie knows about this. Now, I didn't think about this at first, but I thought, wait a second. So if I call the office to use the restroom, the office needs to call security who has a walkie-talkie, and that goes out to everybody's walkie-talkie. So everybody hears, everybody's security. So all security hears, all admin hears, all PE teachers hear, and other teachers hear that Mr. Vigil needs to go to the restroom. I thought, I don't want everybody to know that. And really, students, you have to go to the office because you have a hangnail? Us teachers will come to work if we're missing one lung just to avoid the hassle of having to create lesson plans for our substitutes and have the fear of coming back to a classroom that is destroyed. We'll come to work sick as a dog just to avoid that. And here students want to go to nurse because of a hangnail.
Someone's trying to kill me!
So here's what I do regarding hall passes. On my seating chart, and by the way, if you don't know what I'm referring to, my seating chart, I'll put a link below. But on my clipboard, I'll make marks anytime a student uses a hall pass. And the students know they only get three hall passes per quarter. And anything above 3, they have to serve a detention. The goal of this is not to punish students for having to go to the classroom. The goal of this is to have students aware of how often they are going, as well as to mitigate how often they go. And they know they only got 3 hall passes. I tell them, it's up to you how you're gonna use them, but just remember you only got 3, and anything after 3 is a detention. And that really deters students from going more often than they normally would. It also encourages them to go when they're supposed to, which is during nutrition or lunch or before or after school. Now, of course, there's always exceptions to this. You know, if a student has a medical condition or already contacted the parents or something, there's always exceptions. But the baseline is they only get 3 per quarter. So on the 4th detention, what I do is I tell them however long you're gone for is how long you got to serve detention at lunchtime or at nutrition or maybe even after school. So if you're gone for 2 minutes, then it's only a 2-minute detention. And to be honest with you, sometimes if they're really only gone for 2 minutes, then I know they're not trying to abuse it. They just really had to go, and I just might forget that detention. Forget that detention. But if they go the 5th time, so once again, they're not catching on to this yet, and I feel like they're kind of abusing it maybe a little bit, but the 5th time, I tell them however long they're gone for, they gotta double that detention. So if they're gone 5 minutes, then they gotta serve a 10-minute detention. And usually once students know of the outcome, the consequence, they know I will pretty much hold them to it almost every time, it really deters them from going. And the ones that really need to go, I understand, and we usually work something out. But to tie this all together, when a student returns to the class with the hall pass I just sent them out with, they know they're supposed to take the hall pass and put it in the
trash.
Once again, not in the trash, in the in bin. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did, please click on one of the other videos that you see here on the screen. Thank you for watching. And remember, together we can make our lemon days into lemonade weeks. Stay zesty.